related, or if I accidentally press a button when I don't want to, or what, but now I'm just trying to see if maybe my beeswax is in here. I don't think it is. The one major downside of moving, I have trouble finding certain things. Okay, so, and I'm pretty sure it's not in here. Nope, definitely not. And let's check in here. Most definitely not. Hey, so I guess I'll have to just keep working how I was working. If I eventually don't find my piece of beeswax, I will actually make myself a little square of beeswax. Cause God, it makes life a lot easier when you're hand sewing. But we are almost to the end of hand sewing that vest, and then I get to start working on buttons, which is going to be the exciting part. I was worried about having to spend money I didn't really have to buy buttons or button blanks, but one of my friends, Corbin, just gave me the best idea. He does kind of a bit of a cheat to make button blanks using wooden buttons that have holes, and then you just kind of cut a little bit of the middle out, and then that gives you basically a button blank that you can cover in fabric to make Death Heads buttons. And I'm pretty sure I have enough gold thread to make Death Heads buttons. So I'm just kind of munching a bit on a Crave microwavable meal because I'm hungry, but I want to sew. I don't feel like cooking. So I'm gonna clamp you guys up. I know, Lady Godiva, but I gotta clamp everybody up here. You can get all settled back in after. There we go. Alright. Where did I put my thread? There it is. Okay. I'm just gonna put our feet up. Hopefully I won't. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Additionally, in the ball prep scene between Jane and Lizzie,
I'm just gonna
see that the statement
clamp this right here.
Shorter waisted and in
Sorry.
that kind of transitional phase from the traditional 18th century conical shape to the 19th century locked and loaded style.
Locked and loaded.
The only critique I have, and it's not really that even fair of a critique, it's just a thing that I noticed, is that they obviously seem to have been more heavily boned than actually what the originals were and what the silhouette calls for. So if they had just actually boned them less, there would have been more bust curve and thrustiness, which is better for the 1790s because they were all about boobies back then. However, I think it's a natural assumption to want to put
All
more
about
in these garments
boobies.
because in the early aughts, that's what would have actually made sense with the research available at that time. There's no judgment there. It's just like, oh, this actually could have been a little bit better here, but it's still fantastic. So about this whole stays and corsetry thing, and we know how actresses just love to talk about corsets and how uncomfortable they are, and how terrible they are, and how did women breathe? How did we live?
How did we live? How did we function?
Hidden through the depths of history, and we'll never be able to uncover these mysteries because somehow women were able to survive hundreds of years with these bone torture contraptions around their bodies. And actresses today, who are definitely not the vainest of creatures, completely focused on what their bodies look like because they're told to always lose weight because the camera adds 10 pounds, as does quarantine.
As does quarantine.
But actually, Keira Knightley did an interview where she talked about obviously the corsets. comfortable they were and how she enjoyed wearing them and how they were super pleasant to wear because, you know, they were shorter so they weren't over her stomach where, you know, you can't breathe because apparently actresses also use their intestines to breathe. Anatomy confusion aside, she did talk about how comfortable the corsetry was for this movie, and I found that to be like very pleasant. And just like, thank you, Kira. Thank you for standing up there, even though pirates don't breathe.
Yes, I'm a bit nervous myself.
And that, everyone, is basically my analysis of
I can't breathe. Falls over.
their costumes, the design decisions, what I liked and what I didn't like. And like I said, overall, I actually found the costumes to be quite lovely, great for character development, and you can see a lot of research and care was taken in the conceptualization of these costumes as well as their construction. So, Jacqueline, Duran, well done you. Like, seriously, well done. And I apologize on behalf of my, like, 20-year-old self, or, like, 19-year-old self, who was a little too sassy to her friends on AOL Instant Messenger about your costumes. Like, I apologize. And with that, my fellow nerdlings, I hope that you have enjoyed this video on the costumes of the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. If you haven't seen this version of Pride and Prejudice, I actually highly recommend it, just for the cinematography alone, because it's literally one of the most beautiful movies I have ever seen. It's stunning. And the soundtrack is just so good. And the hand flex.
The hand flex. The freaking hand flex.
I hope that you all have a marvelous week, and I will see you all back here next week with another video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.
That's actually pretty.
See you all next time. Bye.
I love Abby, and I feel like she and I would get along so well. Hey, what's going on over there?
How you doing? Ears clean and her butt fur trimmed up because it was a disaster. Shit, guys. Let's do it. Pride and Prejudice. A discussion. We're good. Oh, my baby. Oh, the baby. Netherfield Park was let it last.
Would you stop catching on pins when I have them even covered? Like, so that you won't. Okay, let's put on another video. Mm-hmm. Yay, Kathy Hay has a new video. Let's put on my lovely Kathy Hay. I love Kathy.
Attention. Friends, I've been out there, and the people, they need some holiday cheer. It's your time to shine. You gotta cuddle your way into their arms, their hearts, till there's a smile on every face. So, who's in?
That is too loud. Gotta love commercials.
Alright, people, it's Friday morning. I haven't made you a video. I'm supposed to release something at 6 o'clock and it's now something like nearly midday. I have been at an event this week, one of those events that should have been in person. I should have been travelling. It didn't happen. Obviously, we're on Zoom now. I've had to give a keynote address. I had to create this great presentation, and it's been really important to me to create that presentation.
haven't made you a video. I've even got one ready to edit, but I haven't edited it. And it occurred to me that, you know, I could just leave it a week, but I decided not to. I decided to just make you this thing, this unedited thing, because
I love
have a friend
Kathy
called
so
Una
much.
Duncan. This is kind of going to become relevant in a minute. And Una is a personal trainer, and she wrote a book. This is not about plugging the book. I'll put the link in the comments below. But Una has this principle in chapter 9. If you can't do something right, do it totally half-assed.
Yes.
And this is part, section 3 of her book is called How Not to Be a Big Fat Quitty McQuitter Face. Highly relevant. Chapter 9, if you can't do something right, do it totally half-assed. She always says, too many people don't do something because they can't do it right or perfect or as they'd like to do it. And so they end up not doing it at all. Like in her case with exercise. If people can't go out and run a mile, they don't bother to go at all. And what you could do is to go out for a walk instead. Even if you are used to going out and running a mile every day, there will be days when you're not feeling so great. And it's more common for people just to not go out at all. And what Una says is you should just go out and do it half-assed. Go out and do a run, a bit of a walk, a bit of a run, a bit of a
Lady Godiva!
Straight and back. It's better than nothing. So, I'm giving myself permission this week to do you a video that is totally half-assed. This is not going to be edited, apart from chopping the beginning and the end off. And I encourage you this weekend to take a project you've been thinking about doing or thinking about finishing, and instead of waiting to do it perfectly or waiting to do it right, just do it totally half-assed. And that's how you're going to get it done. You see, my voice isn't even ready for this morning. I figured that you would rather see something from me today than have me just drop the ball and not send you anything at all. So here I am, half-assed.
I'm just glad to have her there.
And a crappy voice. Unedited. This is me, this is real. Leave me a comment and tell me what you're going to do totally half-assed this week.
I love her so much. She's so adorable. Okay, what else? Grandma Core Thrift Haul. What is this? Let's put it on and see what it is.
Hi everyone! So, a little different video today. I'm venturing out of the four walls on my own. Sacramento County just got moved back into the purple, which is not a good thing. It's not unexpected, unfortunately.
Purple?
But
What's that?
before things really start to shut down again, I kind of wanted to go to the local Discovery store, which is a thrift store that is benefiting the National.
So if you
Cancer
see
Society.
like twitching here, it's just because sometimes
So who doesn't want a little bit of Christmas
I
cheer right now?
wiggle my leg. It's like
But also,
I think it has to do with my
I want to
ADHD.
see if I can find some cottagecore / grandma core type of things that I can add to the cottage, to Muse Cottage. And so I thought it's a nice, cool, crisp day. It's only in the 50s here. And the weather is absolutely just my favorite type, where it's clear blue skies, nice chill in the air. I've actually got 2 sweaters on.
Hey,
And,
buddy.
yeah. So we're going to head off to the thrift store, and I'm going to take you along, and then we're going to see what we can find, and share a little bit of a haul video. I'm also trying to deal with getting the bravery up to leave empty for, longer than just going to the bathroom or something, and also not leaving people with him to babysit him. This is going to be his first time completely alone, and my first time separated from him knowing that he's completely alone. And I did leave the TV on for him. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. So stay tuned for the next segment.
Christmassy stuff is out. Lady Godiva! She's over there yowling. Oh, okay. What happened here? There we go. Oh, china. I really need a good china cabinet. Because, but we don't have the space for it here.
Hi everyone, and we're back home. I'm in my PJs and my favorite shawl that was made for me from a lovely friend named Elizabeth. She goes by Little Antique Me here on YouTube as well as on Instagram, and she had her mama make this for me. So you might wonder why I'm in my PJs. Well, Little Man, aka Impy, who you met in my last Halloween video and a video on him and his playful ways last week, well, he had a little bit of a baby accident in his litter pan. He didn't quite do his business in the right spot and stepped in it getting out. And yeah, needless to say, I had to clean up a bunch of little icky tracks. I'm gonna have to mop the floor later. I had to clean up his litter pan, and then Little Man needed to get the backside of himself bathed, and he is not too happy at the moment. But at least they're clean and they smell good again. It happens. It's like having a baby. I've got myself a nice hot cup of tea speaking of the baby. Come here, sweetheart.
Okay, I want to know what.
Here.
Oh.
Yeah. He may be crawling all over me here.
I miss
This
kittens.
is like with MB. Anyways, I have a nice apple cider tea that I think is Celestial Seasonings. Smells like caramel, has a little bit of chocolate notes to it.
We're almost there.
But yeah, it's like hot apple cider but the tea version. So love it. It's perfect on a chilly day, and especially when, you've been out in the chilly fall air. I guess he's forgiven me for the bath. You sniff? You sniff it? No? He's learned his lesson with hot tea. It is not a thing for him. So anyways, the thrift store. So the thrift store was sort of empty. I know it looked like a lot. That's careful editing. They didn't have that much for Christmas. I guess they had a big sale over the weekend, and so that was a thing. And then, you need to come down? Yes? No? I will get this video made. So, clothes than they had actual, excuse me, items. There you go. Okay. Than items. And so they didn't have a lot of sort of that grandma core, cottage core, at least what I was looking for. I was looking for more copper tins for my collection. I was looking for, well, I don't know. I don't know what I was looking for. I was just looking for stuff that would suit what little I needed. My cottage is already obviously decorated cottage. I've been a grandma for basically my whole life. So yeah, I already have that grandma core thing going on and the cottage core thing going on. You know, being a cottage witch as well. That kind of just feeds into all of that. But, you know, I just wanted to add a few more touches and take you along looking for such things. I'm not unhappy with what I brought home. I still managed to spend about $48 in change, so obviously I found a few things. But it's not what I went for, so... But isn't that always the way? I didn't actually even need anything that I brought home. Again, that's always the way. But, you know, it is what it is. So let's get to the sharing of the first one. So I got all these beads. It's 30 feet of bead garland. And I got it for $4. And I'm not actually going to use it on my tree, but I may use it on my mantle, or I may use it just for photographs. But, I mean, it's $4. It's pretty. It'll work. So, you see all the pretties. I can imagine Impy in a Christmas picture with that. I also managed to get myself a new garland to use for my mantle, so a holly garland. So it would be really pretty wrapped up with that. And this was, they cut the tags off of a lot of these things, but I think this was like $2. So not a bad deal. If you went to the craft store, you certainly would spend more than that. Then I got 2 brand new light strings. They were $4 a piece. It was a little pricey because I know these run like, I don't know, like $5.99 to $7.99, and sometimes you can even find them at the Dollar Tree. But I needed them, wanted them, used them a lot. So they were 5 feet a piece lengthwise, so it's perfect. Again, great for photos with Impy or to add to my mantle or whatever. The next thing is not Christmas oriented. So I'm going to give him the paper to play with. So if you hear some rattling in the back, that's what it is. So these are milk glass. They're calling them candy dishes. If you saw my video, there was quite a bit of milk glass, not as much as I would have liked. I was looking for some luncheon dishes. That was one thing that I really wanted. I'm going to keep searching, but I don't really have much space to store things. But what I thought that I would use these for is actually to hold pillar candles. So I buy my candles at the Dollar Tree. Always apple cinnamon, year round. It is my favorite scent for the house, cottage, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so I thought these would be perfect. It'll contain the wax. Yes, you can clean them. So a little tip is when you finish with your candle and it's burnt down and it's filled up with your wax, is pop it in the freezer real quick, and you can just pop it right out and your dish will be nice and clean. So these were $3 a piece, so not bad whatsoever. I think he's forgiven me, he loves the paper. Give yourself a good personal bath now. Good boy. So the next thing I got, which is back to Christmas, for $3.
Very nice.
Original price on here, but I know I've seen these things in the gift store for like $20-something, if not more. I don't remember who the manufacturer is, but I do recognize sort of this checker. So if you know anything about it, let me know. Anyways, this is a Santa Claus. It says joy. It says welcome to the garden. It has some sticker. I think it has a really good. I'll be able to wipe some of this tissue paper or whatever it is that's stuck to it off with a wet rag. I think it'll be just fine. But 2 little cardinals. But I mean, it is so super cute, and it's just the right size to fit in on my mantle when I'm doing my decorating and adding a bunch of fun small stuff to it. Let's see what's next. The next thing I got for $4. Oh yeah, did I say what this was? $3. So I can't remember if I did or not. So this was a vintage piece. This was in their vintage section, which actually I kind of thought was a horrible excuse for a vintage section. This is a place that normally, pre-COVID, had 2 times a year the best vintage sales. If you watch some of my older videos, so in the older haul videos, I shared, I think, once or twice my going to these sales. It was pretty incredible. And I always came home with a ton of stuff. But because of COVID, they didn't have their August one. I don't know if they'll have their January one. So there really wasn't much there. I think people just aren't donating to the Discovery Shop. They're donating to Goodwill and things like that because obviously resale shops are filled to the gills. But anyways, I found this cute little vintage Japan girl with backpack. And it's just in perfect condition.
Okay, so
I thought she was the cutest little thing. I will have to use some earthquake wax so that Impy does not knock her over. But I thought because of her little cap, she looked very winter, Christmassy. So I was quite happy with that little find. And it took 3 times around the shop to actually find her. So I was glad I didn't miss her.
you dive off.
So the next thing I got is, and I wish there had been more, but I should have gone to the Christmas sale if I'd wanted more, because there was probably more, is I got these cute little acorn ornaments. Got one of those and 2 of these, and I love acorns, and my Christmas tree is all natural, so it's got mushrooms and gnomes and acorns and birds and things of that type of nature on, sorry, I got this kitty distracted. So those will go in perfectly with that. Like I said, I wish there was more, but I'll just keep finding them where I find them and add to my collection and just keep popping them in the tree. Yeah, so those were $1 a piece. So not too bad. Now the next thing I got, which is also Christmas themed, because I told you they just really didn't have a lot of the other things. I wish I could have brought home the 2 vases and the violet covered serving dish and the plates and stuff, but I just really don't have the room for it here at Muse Cottage. So Christmas it was. So I got this really pretty, I think it's Duchess bone china from England. Cup and saucer for $3. It's in absolute perfect condition. I thought it would make a lovely set for pictures for Instagram and to drink from. I have a Christmas mug that I will drink in because you notice I tend to go more towards the mugs than the teacups. But for photographs and sometimes just when I want to have a nice little tea for one, I will pull out the fancy teacups. So I think that that's absolutely perfect. And I can't wait to use it and photograph it and so on and so forth. So there's that. And then last but not least is another mug, another Christmas mug, or another Christmas cup, whatever you want to say, didn't it? The other one is a mug. Anyways, is this really cute Starbucks, I didn't even notice that before, but it's a Starbucks Christmas mug. Looks like a ball of yarn, red and white. And I just thought this was super cute. And if my daughter joins me for one of my videos, like she can have this mug and I can have my little black and white kitty Christmas mug that I bought at some thrift store or Hobby Lobby or wherever it was that I saw it and bought it. But anyway, this doesn't have a price on it, but if I remember correctly, it was about $2. So all in all, I'm not unhappy with my little Christmas / cottage core, grandma core haul. It's not exactly what I went looking for, but like I said, I'm quite happy with it all. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed going along. And even though it was a little short trip and not as much to see, sometimes best laid plans. I mean, I had all these visions in my head for going to what I used to know pre-COVID would be at the store, and it wasn't. My youngest told me to go to one of the local Goodwill stores, but I really enjoy not only the people that work at the Discovery store, but also the fact that it goes towards cancer research and finding a cure for cancer, and that's very important for me to support. So anyways, that's it for now. I have a Florida moth and a kitten to get fully tried, even though right now he's quite happy with the paper and the spool from the litter pan bags that I buy. I finished out a roll today and I had a little spool and he is loving it. So I want to give him some extra TLC and I want to give him
Where did I put my scissors?
And yeah, because it's not his fault. He's just a baby. And it even happens to adult cats. But yeah, I gotta show him some love and show him, you know, that Mama didn't mean to torture him by bathing his back feet. So, anyways, that's all for now. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to get a video out every week with the holidays and everything. But I'm gonna do my darndest through the end of the year.
It's starting to look nice. Now all that's left is the collar.
I was thinking for
and then it'll be
December,
buttons.
If you're interested, and I'd love to hear your comments down below, in doing a snack and a story once again. But this time,
Oh,
I'm
nope, that isn't
thinking
it.
of reading Christmas stories from a book, sort of like a fireside
There.
reading from this Christmas book. Something relaxing to listen to, and
Alright, Lady
yeah,
Diva.
and share a recipe.
You're a little in the
too.
way.
Sorry,
Let me just try to.
I am smitten kitten with this little guy, and I'm just so distracted. Yeah, so distracted. Anyway, so if that sounds good, or if you would rather say children's Christmas stories read, I have no problem buying you children's Christmas books and reading them. I know I enjoy children's books, so I could order a few very simple ones. I know a lot of you have children at home, so maybe I could be Grandma Ruby for the month of December and get some of those type videos out, or a combo of the two. Let me know. Like I said, we have some things planned, me and the oldest, and after that, just gonna play it by ear. It is what it is. I got a little kitten to take care of, got my health to take care of. The world is upside down still as far as I'm concerned. So the stress has really been affecting me and my health on a major level. So yeah, but I'm trying to do the best that I can do to spend some time with you. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you for taking so much time out of your day to spend some time with me. So until next time, I love and appreciate all of you. And I hope you'll come visit me on Instagram at Ruby's Musings and visit with me there. Impy is there as well. And now he's playing in his water dish. And there goes a little more wet footprints. Yeah, I gotta go. So until next time, I love you everybody. Take care. And I will see you soon.
Up in this thing. this in 95-degree heat. I wore it all the time. Ah, the corset, the bane of every pre-20th century woman's existence, a symbol of repression, oppression, suppression, of patriarchy and shifted organs. I can't even take myself jokingly seriously with all this nonsense. Hi, as some of you probably already know, I wore one of these things for the better part of my remembered youthful years to treat a case of scoliosis, and surprisingly, I haven't died. I haven't so much as even fainted, ever. Considering how many of these I wore a corset for a day videos I am seeing popping up out there, I decided I had to partake. Only I thought I'd add my scoliotic historian's 2 cents to this by taking the opportunity to explore and compare corset life in the medical brace I'm accustomed to versus life in an actual Victorian reproduction corset. How are they similar? How are they different? Can you put your shoes on after putting on your corset? All these important questions and more coming up. The first task of the day is, of course, getting dressed. So one thing I actually figured out independently, which turns out is a historically accurate practice, is how important it is to be wearing a layer underneath this thing. I'm pretty sure this is common sense, but I feel like it's something that you just come to naturally when you realize, wow, having a tight garment against your skin is not ideal. So automatically I adopted the practice of wearing a chemise, or basically like a camisole or an under t-shirt or just something that went underneath this brace. This not only prevented chafing, but it helped keep my skin cooler. I mean, this is plastic, so this is not Victorian, obviously, not what they would have to deal with. I will say, I did wear this like all day, all the time, all day, every day, 23.5 hours of the day when I wasn't changing my clothes or taking a shower. So I slept in this thing. I wore this in 95-degree heat. I wore it all the time. And I never even thought about it because it just like, it wasn't even there. It was just part of the way that I move and part of the way that I live and adapt. One thing that's really great about all corsetry, including this, is that you can wear your waistbands really tight against your abdomen. You can get a really nicely fit waistband without worrying about it cutting in. I know personally, I know this sounds really contradictory, but I can't stand having constrictive waistbands. It's not like you have one waistband just cutting into your waist, which is very comfortable. So I should disclaim, I'm not supposed to be wearing this thing. If you happen to be my orthopedic surgeon once upon a time, please do not watch this video. Alright, it is time to get to work. I'm working on another project that's computer-based, and we'll get to some slightly more upright activities this afternoon. It is also potentially interesting to see what happens when you have to sit for long periods of time in a corset. The answer is not much.
Only downside here.
This is a question that comes up a lot with corsetry, at least with this thing. This thing is hard plastic, so yes, my posture is very much improved. I also want to say that this is no effort whatsoever. It's not a conscious effort that I'm sitting up straight now, it's just, I mean, this is also possibly a little bit of the detriment of this, in that because I've got this coming all the way up to here, all the way up to the crook of my arm basically, I mean, I just kind of rest on it. And I'm like, at this point, I'm completely slouched and relaxed. I'm just totally and entirely held up by the support of a hard plastic, which is why they tell you not to wear these things for the rest of your life, because this will deteriorate your muscles, and it did, which is part of the reason why I have residual issues now. So needless to say, I'm actually quite comfortable.
Alright, and let's see on the side.
Hello,
See, this side's
So
basically
inevitably something that everybody asks in regards to corsetry is
pretty
what
good.
do you do
It's just
about
this side here.
How do you eat whilst you wear something that's constrictive around you? Yes, you are prevented from expanding physically to some degree, especially, I mean, with what I'm wearing here, this is hard plastic, this does not have any give. I do
No,
say
stop
everyone is
complaining.
different on this subject. Everyone who wears a corset is comfortable with different levels of strain, I guess. So there are some people who can wear a corset, who can eat just normally as they would every day, even uncorseted, and they're fine. I am not the
Oh,
kind of person. I know Abby
guys.
Cox's said on her channel, I believe, when she was talking about dressing 18th century, how they all go out to a restaurant in their 18th century wear, and at the end of the meal, all the women would lean in a way to get the pressure off their abdomen so that they could have a little bit more extending room, which is clever. It's not something that I ever figured out. Personally, I do not like the feeling of feeling full whilst wearing something around my middle. I eat very, very small portions, but frequently throughout the day. So generally, and this is something that I do even now that I am no longer wearing a corset, I focus on consuming dense, high-calorie foods that I don't have to consume large quantities of, that can sustain me until, like, when I eat again in, like, 2 or 3 hours. So typically, it depends on what time I get up in the morning, but if I'm up around 6
You,
or
Lady
7, I'll
Godiva,
have
you're very
breakfast
much in the way.
then, and then I'll have second breakfast around 10 or 11, and then I'll have lunch, like, midday, and then I will have, like, afternoon tea, like, another thing in the middle of the afternoon, then I will have dinner, and depending on what time I have dinner, if I have dinner late, then I won't eat anything late at night, but if I eat dinner more like 6 or 7 o'clock, then I will have another snack before I go to sleep.
So it's about 1:45 right now. I have to go out and post a letter real quick. I also feel like I want to take you on adventures outside. We'll go on a little adventure real quick, and then I have to get back here to do some sewing that I have to start doing before I start losing the light, because it is fast approaching winter, and that's the thing that tends to happen. So,
Friends, I have to confess, the one and only point of pain that I am feeling right now
Lady Godiva,
is the underwire of my modern bra.
you're sitting. I can't access. I really need access to my vest here.
So when I put out a little poll on Instagram to ask, what are the questions that you have about corset life? How do you do that in life? Almost every single question has something to do with movement. How do you bend over? How do you sleep? How do you do this?
Okay, so Lady Godiva, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh.
Obviously, I can't bend the lower half of my spine, like I can't curve my back like that. However, we forget that the human body is capable of moving in many different directions. So if you need to bend over, well, you have the option of bending at the waist. You have the option of bending at the shoulders. You have the option of bending with your knees. So there are many different ways to still perform the same activity, you just do them in a slightly different way. And it's all something that happens very naturally, very instinctually, and very intuitively. If you are used to doing all of your bending just in this lower part of your spine, you will notice a difference in the way that you are moving. It is not constricted though, because you're not being prevented from making these movements. You can still do them. You just have to use another part of your body to do them. So I had absolutely no issue putting on my shoes. I had absolutely no issue bending over to pick things up. Sitting in all sorts of weird, unnatural positions, as some of us are so wont to do, and I was still able to do all of that perfectly fine. Comfort update, I guess. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, like, I'm starting to forget that it's here. There are a couple of bother spots. One, this underwire spot is still driving me insane. The other thing that I'm starting to notice is this bit here, where it cuts in, starting to cut into one of the back muscles that I have developed since I stopped wearing this thing. This is an issue that's specific to this race, and this is why I'm not supposed to be wearing it still, but just thought I'd point that out. So usually around this point of the afternoon, it's about 4 o'clock, I will stop and do a bit of exercise. Typically, I
I will do the physio exercises that I am meant to be doing. However, unfortunately, these are movements that I specifically cannot do whilst I am in this thing because they're designed to move the bits that I can't move whilst I'm in this thing. So I can't exactly do that. So unfortunately, I do live in an environment with lots of stairs. So let's go see how we handle stairs. So, I am winded. I am no more winded than I normally would be after walking up 4 flights of stairs. Just like the body adapting to different ways of movement, also adapt to different ways of breathing. I in no way feel like I'm going to pass out and just, walked up some stairs. But I'm fine. For those of you who wanted to know, yes, Cesario is, in fact, using his pillow. I did just wake him up from a nap, though, so. So in my evening hours, I spend importing all of my footage into my computer that I shot during the day, as well as going through it, labeling it, doing scripting, all that sort of processing stuff, just because, today I was actually working on 2 videos simultaneously. Well, 3. So that's a lot of little individual bits and files and things that need to be sorted. Otherwise, I'm just going to end up with a massive mess of footage, which 0 out of 10 do not like to deal with that. As one Morgan Donner would say, still not dead. It is day 2 of the experiment, and having been sufficiently reminded of the day-to-day life in the brace, it is now time to find out how life in a Victorian corset compares. The corset I'm wearing today is a reconstruction of an 1890s corset based on a pattern from the Symington collection. This was an actual pattern used by the Symington Corset Company, which operated out of Market Harborough, England, throughout the latter part of the 19th century and into the 20th. The mass manufactured nature of the Symington Company means that the corsets that they produced would have been inexpensive and thus affordable to a wider range of women in the latter Victorian period. In fact, the Symington Company is perhaps best known for its pretty housemaid corset, which was marketed specifically to women working in domestic service as being a particularly durable, supportive, and yet lightweight undergarment. While the original Symington corset would have been stiffened with baleen or whalebone amongst a range of other possible materials, I've stiffened this reproduction with synthetic baleen, a particular quality of plastic bone that is made to mimic the exact weight and flexibility of real baleen. There's an entire 2-part video series on the making process for this if you wish to learn a bit more about that. Compared to yesterday, I am comfortable. Not that yesterday was uncomfortable, because obviously I did wear that for many years. I am used to it. It is made for me. This is fantastic. This is like, to be quite honest, this feels like sportswear in comparison to what I was wearing yesterday. I do feel a little bit lumpy up here. I should be wearing some ruffles underneath, as well as a corset cover just to smooth the edge of the corset here going up. So this harsh line, I do not possess currently the proper undergarments to solve that, but this would not be historically desirable, I should say. This one actually is a little bit more difficult on the breathing just because the brace that I was wearing yesterday is under bust, so it stopped here. It did come up a bit further up in the back, but this provides bust support.
Oops, sorry.
That is the point of a corset. So this comes
Oh,
up
that's Lady Godiva.
all
Hey, let go.
which
You know
means
you're
it
not supposed to do that.
the upper part of my ribs. I can breathe fairly deeply, but I have to sort of.
That's Lady Godiva. She is my sewing companion. She likes to sit there and watch me sew. Sometimes she will try to get at my threads, but...
I should point out, by the way, that I am
Oh,
not
give me one sec. I'm just going to...
wearing a corset as a support
I'm going to open up my laptop so I can actually read you guys' messages.
So I am not tight-laced. I'm not cinching myself down to a 21-inch, 18-inch waist.
There we go. Now I can actually see what you
guys
guys are saying. Come back. Oh, I know, Lady Godiva. Yeah. There we go. You gonna keep chatting while I sew? Yeah? Oh, don't be jealous, Esme. Yeah? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Why are you being jealous, Esme? By the way, Esme is perched on the back of the couch. Like a little cat. She's so ridiculous. It's me. What are you doing? And then Lady Godiva is just on my stomach. She's rubbing against the tripod right now. There are 3 dogs here. There's Esme, which is my poodle. There is Cody, which is my girlfriend's 14-year-old dachshund, which is like a wiener dog. And there is Kesa, the 13-year-old Chihuahua, which is again my girlfriend's other dog.
However, there is a big steel bust down the front of it, and I'm not putting this on, so that is less flexible.
Lady Godiva, if you rub against my tripod, you're just gonna that. Stop, silly girl. No. No. She's like being a little pissed. I'm trying to get some sewing done, girl. Oh yeah, they're all amazing little puppers. Esme is also 11 years old. Lady Godiva over here is 3. She's going to be 4 on the 1st of December of February.
I always like to devote at least an hour or 2 each week to taking an online course. So I'm getting off my feet for a bit this afternoon to do just that. This video is conveniently sponsored by Skillshare, who are one of my favorite
Your feet. She's like kind of kicking at my, kind of kicking. She's basically stopping my hands from moving properly for sewing. Yeah. That's me. Why are you whining? I'm gonna have to get up and make another coffee and take my evening Ritalin, or else I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
This is getting way too philosophical, but basically storytelling is one of those nebulous creative skills that I am perpetually exploring. Skillshare specialize in creative and business-oriented content, not only to help you build skills in creative fields, but also to help you market those skills if that is something you choose to pursue. With skills,
Yeah, a little pet break.
photography, videography, and even sewing. To productivity, time management, presentation skills, business analytics, leadership, and management. So whether you're looking to stay
She's like so content. I wish you guys could see her face. She's like...
Skillshare offers the perfect creative learning community to help you. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description box below will get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership. And after that, it's only around $10 per month.
There you go.
I think it is time to now attempt a bit of exercise. Now, in theory, I think I actually do have a bit more core movement here. So I could
That's me.
some of the physio exercises I seem to be doing. However, I think it would be a bit more fun to attempt some Victorian exercises. I have actually, my good friend Constance Mackenzie has sent me a link to a 1910 Every Woman's Encyclopedia, in which is contained some instructions for some basic exercises. So I thought we would give this a shot today. It's really interesting because this article actually has pictures in it showing actual photographs of Victorian
Cut your foot. Cut your foot.
She has got quite a bit of core bend.
Why are you barking at Kesa?
She's not as rigid as I
Your little foot.
felt and definitely was in the brace. This, of course, is obviously due to the flexibility of whalebone. She's got steels in her. Of course, that still does have some give to it. So let's see what sort of exercises the Victorians were getting up to. So this first one is instructing me to stand with heels together
Arms horizontal with the shoulders and bend alternately to the left and to the right side. With hands on hips and heels together, bend as far back as possible at the waist, recover original position, and bend forward at the waist. Seems simple enough. Figure 3. With arms raised above the head and heels together, bend alternately as far as possible to the right and left side.
I know, but I'm like click
Hands above the head
diver.
and bend the body at the waist until the toes can be touched. Seems pretty straightforward enough. Hold a stick in both hands, stretch to the right, swinging downwards and upwards to the left on the balls of the toes. I'm not gonna lie, that was not ineffective. I can see why it's having you do all these vertical stretches, because when you stretch vertically, you lengthen out, which means that your core muscles are more engaged in doing the actions. If that makes any sense. So for example, when I'm lengthening myself like this, and I'm giving myself a bit more room in the corset, and then I go and lean, all of a sudden these back muscles have to do some work. So I definitely do feel it. I feel it in my lower back muscles. I feel it in my shoulder blades when I was having to do some of those more like upper stretches. It's also really interesting to do these exercises not in a rigid garment that prevents movement, but in one that does allow for some flexibility.
Oh hey. No jealousy.
So in a weird way, I almost feel like
She really is.
my core muscles are having to work
Hi, Kesa.
harder, which is a good thing because obviously just having them be supported for their entire life is not a good thing. So I actually really happy adopting some of these as my everyday routine. We shall see. Hello friends, Editing Bernadette coming here to you to report that I'm real heckin' sore after doing that workout routine thing. One, because I am a weakling. I'm feeling it like here, like in my back, round my waist area, which is not a muscle I even realized I had, let alone used. So you go, Victorian ladies, they're using muscles that I don't even use apparently in my own everyday uncorseted life. Okay, well after sufficiently spending a day in this thing, I have to say, I do not hate it. In fact, I have actually grown quite comfy in it, and I could 10 out of 10 definitely see wearing one of these things in everyday life.
So what can we conclude? I actually have to say the brace is more severe, more rigid, less flexible, and more painful than the Victorian corset. Which is surprising because, I mean, in theory, the brace is something that I'm used to. It's something that I've worn. It's something that I tolerated very easily, that I wore basically every hour of the day. Whereas the Victorian corset that gets so much modern day flack for being this horrendously repressive, uncomfortable, restrictive garment was actually far more freeing than what I actually wore every day of my life for a period. That was a bit of a revelation, actually. I do also have to say that because the Victorian corset was so flexible, I was not supported. I wasn't held up by the Victorian corset in the way that I was held up by the brace. In the brace, as you saw, I was able to sort of basically just sort of slouch and lean into it. That's of course what has caused such intense deterioration of all my core strength, whereas I still had a lot of core flexibility with the Victorian corset, and I could not just sort of like lean back on it and be supported. I did have to keep myself upright. So even I will admit that I was under the impression that, oh wow, Victorian women must have had very weak core muscles, because I have very weak core muscles after growing up in the corset. I think I busted that myth a bit for myself, in that the Victorian corset was not nearly so restrictive as the brace. And also, if she's not sleeping in it, if she is taking it off during the day, which I was not, on top of the fact that women were obviously encouraged to exercise, especially to exercise in a manner that engaged their core muscles. In terms of breathing, as I said, I do feel like it was a bit easier to breathe in the brace just because it sort of cut off right here-ish. The Victorian corset came up a bit higher, therefore there was more of me compressed. It wasn't at all in any case detrimental. It wasn't impeding. It was just readapting to the method of breathing that I became adapted to once upon a time. Once you get used to it, I honestly, genuinely forgot that the corset was there. I will say with the brace, I was aware of it pretty much every hour of the day. I really wish I could recall the first week of wearing this thing and what adjustments I was making. I don't recall ever feeling any sort of antipathy towards it. I was never reluctant or resistant to wearing it, but I do imagine the first week or two would have been a bit of an adjustment. So just getting back into it for one day, I was very conscious of the fact that I was wearing this brace again. I'm like mentally putting myself back into somewhere I thought I had left. With the Victorian corset, however, I will say I genuinely forgot about it by the end of the day. There were moments where I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this thing. I guess I need to pick up the camera and vlog because it's just not there. It was comfortable. It was really comfortable. I mean, I've said this in the past before. It's kind of like just having a hug. Just like trying to hug. Honestly, they're really not that bad, friends. Eating was definitely easier in the Victorian corset. Again, the Victorian corset has so much more flexibility to it. And also the brace sort of cuts in severely at very odd places. And so, yeah, okay, it doesn't exactly make things the most easy, but with the not tight laced, very functionally laced, very naturally done corset, it was fine. I was wearing an 1890s corset. By this time in history, women had been wearing corsets and stays and bodies and kirtles for literally hundreds of years. The technology for these things was extremely developed and extremely advanced. So whereas at one point in the 17th century, the entire pair of stays was just solidly boned with tiny, tiny little slivers of believe, and were very rigid. They were stiffened with paper and paste and all this sort of stiffening additional material. By the time you reach the late Victorian period, which is the kind of corset I was wearing for this experiment, people have figured out that you don't need to just encase yourself in a wall of bones. You can actually achieve a really supported shape and a really comfortable shape in the cutting of the fabric itself rather than in the stiffening of the material. And this is something that we seem to have forgotten in modern corsetry construction nowadays, in that we think, oh, we'll just put steel bones in everything and we will have a beautifully hourglass shape. It doesn't work like that. If you saw my corset making video, the shape of the fabric pieces themselves, the curves and the way that they fit together, alone, without the boning, already have such incredible shape. The boning just sort of keeps it vertical, so that when you put it on, it doesn't swoosh. Yeah. This was not meant to be a super fashionable heel conferred, let's see how tiny I can get my 18-inch waist or whatever. That was not the point. I imagine, yes, there would be some detrimental effects from wearing corsetry in that effect. Yes, your organs move. Yes, things shift around. No, it's not harmful to your health. Pregnancy, obesity, etc. Things shift around, just as when you wear a corset. But they shift back when you take the corset off. Everything goes right back to normal, according to the x-rays that these people have done. The only instance in which organs do shift is if you are severely tight-lacing from a very young age. I mean, in a weird way, in scoliosis treatment, that is deliberate. The whole point of scoliosis treatment is to catch the strangeness of body growth whilst you are young, so that you can deliberately try and change the composition of things by the time you are finished growing. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this quest. I hope this was informative, and I shall see you anon with some more dress history, hype, and general nerdery. Keeping these stays on because I can't be left. This is a look.
Wow.
The Canadian Cancer Society fund groundbreaking research and provide support to cancer patients and their families. In a holiday season like no other, give the gift of hope to families affected by cancer. Donate today at cancer.ca.
close, guys. So close. That's why I almost don't want to stop, but like I have to take my ADHD meds and make another coffee. Still getting there. Once I'm done this collar, I literally just need to get some twill tape. Let's see if I can get this up a little bit more. Some twill tape down here to basically hide the last of those raw edges. And then we are good to go for buttons, which is the last, well, buttons and buttonholes anyway. Ow. Let's just stab. Stabby stab.
Our patience is sometimes tried by questions the answers to which are self-evident to all who know anything about the usages of society. For instance, it seems hardly possible in the light of the 19th century that anyone should doubt whether to take a dressing case, etc., when going with malice prepense to spend the night with a friend. Such queries are too puerile to deserve an answer, and we warn the writers that they generally find a place in the wastebasket, save when they serve to point a moral, as in the present case. Fichu is pronounced Fichu, and just here we would say that we do not undertake to publish a pronouncing dictionary, and that if we answered all the queries propounding to us concerning the pronunciation of words, there would be room for little else in the bazaar. Hence our readers must excuse us from replying to such questions in the future.
There we go.
To Emerald Isle. If you cannot frame an original reply to a gentleman who thanks you for accompanying him on a walk or ride, how have you managed to sustain the burden of the previous conversation? If you have no conversational powers and don't know what to do with yourself in company, we can only advise you to preserve a discreet silence, by virtue of which you may gain the reputation of exceeding wisdom. Evelina. It seems to us that your course has been most reprehensible in taking advantage of your friend's hospitality to engage the affections of a suitor, and we think that your own sense of honour ought to make you discourage his attentions, and do all in your power to repair the evil you have caused. Frankie. It is absolutely necessary that you should consult an oculist about your child's eyes. To lay down specific rules for the treatment of an individual case of short-sightedness will be a kind of charlatanry to which the bazaar does not aspire. Mrs. E.E.H. If you are a constant reader, you must know that we give numerous patterns of the plainest suits that are worn. The bazaar's influence would soon cease did it undertake to give those which are not worn. Augusta. You should not accept the book or any other present from Mr. under the circumstances. Upon reflection, you must agree with us. We have not the pattern you desire. We have not the pattern. We have not the pattern you desire. WHD. The report that some person has offered $500 for 1 million of useless postage stamps is too absurd to call for investigation. A person must needs be insane or idiotic to propose such a thing. Phileas, you ask us a nice question, which we prefer to leave to the decision of your own conscience.
Okay. Alright.
Sanji. There is a law in England prohibiting marriage with a deceased husband's brother or wife's sister. But there is none such in this country.
Hey, 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 hey. Alright. They know I'm getting up. Quiet. Get your nose out of there. Alright, move. 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 Quiet. My goodness. Stop. Shh. Oh, yoink. Oh my god, my vest. It's getting there. Stop. Oh, okay. My sciatic hurts. Stop. My goodness. Hi, Kesa. Move. Hi. My goodness. Okay, so time for more coffee. Okay, what? More coffee and more Ritalin. It's my life right there. Okay. Goes here. Ritalin. Yeah, I have to make sure I don't take my ADHD meds too late, or else I will not sleep. And that is very bad. So. Okay. Oh my god, my hip. I'm an old lady with bad hips. It's not actually my hip. I keep saying my hips, but it's actually my sciatic nerve. Basically, like, the muscle kind of where your butt is pushing against my sciatic nerves. That's what my physiotherapist has said. Because with my weight loss and everything, just that muscle is basically, it tightens, and basically it tightens against that spot. Okay, so let us turn on the espresso machine. Let that heat up, and I use this so that I don't make as much mess. Milk. Hello, puppies. You guys are so cute. Okay, we're gonna some milk. Maybe a little bit more milk. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet me over everything. They say time's supposed to heal you, but I'm not sure what to think. Hello, can you hear me? I just overspilled. I really need some of those pumps. Syrup pumps. Okay. So basically I just put my sweetener in here. And yep. Okay. Oh, poopers. There you go. Oof. Come on. There you go. Hello from the other side of this cold mountain. Tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart. I don't know why I have that song in my head, but I do. It clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore. I really need a stamper. For now, I'm just gonna stamp this way. So, stamper, all done. This in here. Let's flip you guys over. Spluttering anymore, which is great because I was having issues with it spluttering. Okay. And we're gonna I've never seen almond milk froth like this before. This is pretty cool. Alright, and I've got my woof, guys! Get out of my feet, thank you. the quilt. Oh, skip the guilt. I was reading this, and for some reason the font made it look like ship the guilt instead of ship the quilt instead of skip the guilt. All right, let's put our beautiful frothy double shot of espresso in here. And then this is my favorite part, just watching this. Ooh. Now that's some thick if it's not even like... This is nice and dark too. Really, really dark. Yeah. Okay. I may add a tiny bit more syrup in this because the syrup was put in here, and because this is so frothy, it doesn't fit as much in there. So, all right, let's give this a try. First, just take a bit of sips, actually. I'm not sure why, but I can't see all of your comment there, Jesse. I'll look at it on the laptop in a minute. Also, hi! Shake, 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 Sonora, shake your body line. Shake, 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 Sonora, shake it all the time. Work, 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 Sonora, work it all the time. Whoop! Almost dropped you guys. Work, 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 Sonora, work it all the time. My girl's name is Sonora. I tell you friends, I adore her. And when she dances, oh brother, she's a hurricane in all kinds of weather. Jump in the line. Kids, I was like, what are you doing? So good. Like, this is better than most stuff bought at coffee shops. Speaking of that, Claire and I have a coffee date with someone later, and I'm like, I may have to message them, and since like I'm not babysitting today, and ask if we can do it earlier, because I would much rather go and have coffee at a nice coffee shop than go to like a Tim's. No Tim's. Ugh. Sorry guys. Old puppers decided to have a poops on the floor, so I'm just cleaning that. Who was it? I think it was Cody. I think it was Cody. Those poops are way too big for Kesa. And I know Esme uses the pee pad. Plus, she was basically behind me on the couch all evening. Well, not evening, but all noon. All noon.
I started at 7. I sewed until 9. I went for a walk with my husband for 45 minutes. I came back.
Oh god, that's so good. This one's really good. Okay.
So, 5 hours.
Just trying to see. These are my beads. Okay, a lot of my buttons have been put in here. Since after I'm done this, I'm gonna have to be doing buttons. So I'm just trying to see if. Oh, these are pretty. They're not what I'm looking for, but they're very pretty.
Very pleased and relieved. I will be more relieved than Jen.
Oh, these will work
You know,
to cover with fabric.
I really believe we're settling. We could have done better. Like,
Yeah,
I'll take her.
I think. If not, no, these are silver.
So many things that I'm just like, yeah, we could have done better. We're settling provided. And so when I
Ooh, buckles. Yes, perfect, because I need a buckle for my vest as well, and I don't have one yet. These are bigger ones. They are 4 holes, which is a bit easier to make a hole with, but they're too big for what I'm looking for. There are these, but I mean, like, they're pretty, but they're not like historical enough. And the rest of this stuff. Okay, that'll be what it'll be. They don't know who we be. They don't know who we be. Don't mind me, guys. I'm a being silly. Okay, and I know I saw some of my strings.
Cut off. I cut out the inside. This is the thing. I'm gonna cut red.
Oh, extension cord. That feels good. Oof.
Hopefully, that goes well. So I'm gonna cut the black
Yeah.
side.
Okay. Some. We'll see if it's enough for what I need. Oh, and there's another one.
This list right here is actually like a breakdown list of all. So I can get tiny pieces of over and over and over.
More buttons.
Highly recommend it. I do actually feel significantly more motivated than I have in a long time, and I think it's probably the elections.
It's probably the elections. Yes.
So maybe.
Yes, it totally is.
Yeah, YouTube has actually been super weird lately, which none of us can understand.
What is this? Buttons of some sort. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of trying to find things. Ooh, my suit hash. Ooh, and gold. Ooh, and more pins. I'm finding things, guys. I'm finding things. And then there's my suit hash. Oh, oh. Yes, more gold. I knew I had bought gold. Okay, well then that means this whole thing needs to come with, because it's all in here.
People don't talk about it a lot. Like, there is a large fluctuation in what happens every month on your channel. Like, I had 1 month where I had 4,000 or 5,000 viewers. The next month I had like 1,800, and the next month I went back to normal, which is somewhere around 900.
I'm not sure if this will be enough to do my coat that I'm wanting to do, but we will see.
Up and down, always the money you get is up and down, your viewers are up and down, your subscribers are up and down. It's a crazy job. Like, for people who have this as their like actual.
Oh, and I'm gonna need my tape.
It's a lot.
This is. Okay, I know I saw it around here very recently because I was like, ooh, can't forget about that. And then I forgot about it. Okay. Tool tape? Is this tool tape? No, no, that is not tool tape. Is that? No. God damn it. Where are you? I know you're here. It was here like very recently because I was staring at it. It was winking me right in the face. Let me turn on this light. There we go. Okay, is it over here? No. Oh god, this fur. I'm sorry guys, I'm just like gonna walk around like a weirdo with like fur, cause it's so soft. I just keep getting shivers. It's so nice. Okay. Let's take a look at here. Okay, there's an apron. And like other stuff. Let's see here. Okay, this is garbage. Okay. I'm like losing this. Okay, I'm just gonna put you guys down like this for a second while I try to see if I can't find my twill tape. I feel like if anywhere it might have been like thrown in one of these bags by accident. No, maybe not. There's mugs though. Ooh, smell perfume in here though. I'm not a perfume girl. Where would you have gone? Now I'm just trying to find it because I kind of need my twill tape in order to finish my vest enough to start working on buttons. It's like a gold thread. They don't know. I feel like with this fur, I feel like, what's his name there? I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for, this is nothing awesome. I wear your granddad's clothes. I look incredible. Well, there's the clippers. There's definitely not this. Are you here? Maybe.